Hi, welcome back to my channel, Expired Coke Films. Today I'm wearing my Killer Clowns shirt, which is kind of awesome. I'm not a big fan of the color yellow, but I love this shirt bad. I love it down bad. So today is going to be kind of another, I don't want to say serious video, but just video that could change perspective on different movies, different films. I'm not sure, but if you see the title of the video, Art or Exploitation, I'm going to be talking about artsy, weird movies, creepy, disturbing movies, and questioning, do they all deserve to be made? I love disturbing, creepy movies. I love horror movies. I love all that in between. But in the horror community, there are some movies that have been made that we still talk about all the time. But do we really question why they were made? And I know that that's a slippery slope because a lot of films, you don't need a reason to make them. Art is subjective and art is film and film is art. So you really can't argue that, I suppose. But also, can we? Like just hear me out. Just hear me out. So when we watch movies, we often need to ask ourselves, what is this teaching us? What are we learning from this movie? What are we taking away from this movie? And I suppose I want to ask, how far can we go with the creative liberties until it's borderline just exploitative or torture porn? Just no reason for the film. It's just made to show violence and really just exploiting. Many people that you'll talk to are like, well, you wouldn't get it. It's artistic. You'd have to understand that there's a meaning to it. It's just you don't get it. Okay. All right. I feel like the average person when making a movie, or if given the task of making a movie, the first thought for them would not be to violently torture a woman or kill an animal. You know what I'm saying? Because why would they? Like, it can't be for humor, right? Because essay and violence and like trauma isn't funny. It's not funny to the average person. It's horrific. So that's kind of the path that I'm going for this video. So this is what I'm going to be breaking up this video into. Disturbing films that have meaning and disturbing films that do not have any meaning and are just borderline exploitative. So I'm going to start off first with A Clockwork Orange, 1971 by Stanley Kubrick. This is a film that is incredibly disturbing, but it has meaning. It's, the whole free will versus forced morality. Is it better to be freely evil or forced to be good? It deals with the government control, nature, or, evil, nurture versus nature, all of that. And, even the name, it goes into organic on the outside, mechanical, mindless robot within. That's why it's called A Clockwork Orange. They're asking you questions, when you're seeing the movie, and it's really questioning your morality. Those are different subjects that need to be asked within movies, especially if they're disturbing. I know a lot of people are probably going to see this and be like, well, why do you care? It doesn't matter. It's just a movie. But at the same time, movies influence people, and you can take away a lot from a movie. So I don't know. It's just worth kind of asking. Second one, Requiem for a Dream, 2000, by Darren Aronofsky. I don't know if I said that right. Do not kill me, please. This is a very popular movie within the disturbing film community. I've seen it once. I will not see it again. And horror is subjective, and disturbing movies are subjective. So some movies might freak you out more than for others, and then vice versa. Everybody has the things that make them squeamish and make them a little uncomfortable. That's the funny thing about art. And art is supposed to make you uncomfortable sometimes. So, but Requiem for a Dream is obviously exploring the destruction of dreams from addiction. Drug addiction, obsession, um, ultimately unattainable fulfillment is, the entire basis of that movie, that goes in so much deeper than you realize before watching it. And sorry if I'm like looking down a lot. I have my little notes here that I have to keep me on track. So that's another one, that has meaning within the film community, that a lot of people, it's notorious for just being a heavy watch, but it's also a needed watch. Um, the other one that I put on here is Lolita, 1962. I'm going a little fast because I have a lot of different little ones to cover, and I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long. But I picked the one from 1962 by Stanley Kubrick as well. Love Stanley Kubrick. Still one of the best directors that we've had. I like this one better than the one from the 90s. But Lolita is a notorious disturbing movie based on a book. Trigger warning, Lolita deals with CSA, pedophilia dynamics. The entire premise of Lolita is it is an unreliable narrator. The narrator is a pedophile who is justifying his behavior of being sexually attracted to a child. And the creepy thing is, throughout the book and the movie, when you're watching or reading it, you almost find yourself forgetting it's a child he's talking about, because it just is very enthralling, and it's very disturbing in that way. That's what makes it so disgusting, is that you almost find yourself trying to also like sympathize and empathize with him. He does, like most predators, Humbert does not realize what he thinks is wrong. He doesn't think what he's doing is wrong. Seemingly innocent actions that the main character Dolores is doing, he sexualizes them. He makes them seem so much more promiscuous than they are, of what just is a child doing a random activity. The power dynamics as well of an old man with a literal 12-year-old girl. It's a lot more disturbing than I think people make it out to be. People romanticize it. I know the whole Lana Del Rey has a song Lolita. Not a fan of that one. Anything that's kind of justifying the pedophilic behavior within the movies and glamorizing, and that is a big no-no. We are not going to romanticize or glamorize pedophilia. That's crazy. That's insane. But it's also an important movie, because there are people in this world all around us that are like that do not see anything wrong with that. And that's what makes it even more disturbing. Okay, so moving on to another one, this one, a lot of people think this movie, for some reason, I mean, to me it was horrifying, but to a lot of people in the community, they thought it was more funny than disturbing. I don't know how, but like I said, it's subjective. Maybe stuff within it scared me more for different reasons and it scared other people. But I put Hereditary 2018 because this is a very disturbing movie to me. It's by Aster. And the heavy themes of this movie are inherited trauma and mental health. Minus the supernatural elements of this film, it deals very heavy with grief and dealing with the after effects of grief. And Hereditary, the entire, title of the film, passing down traits through your family line. And that's what's so disturbing to me, is the fact that you see it in real time within the movie, of different mental health struggles that the characters are going through, and how it's ultimately unraveling their family. And it's so scary because that's something that is so prevalent in today, especially today's culture, with mental health. It's not as stigmatized, but also it's so much worse than it used to be, because I don't want to say because of social media, but I mean, yeah, technology, AI, and a lot of scary things happening within 2026 that, we didn't know if we'd see in this lifetime. And mental health is scary, and it feels lonely, and it's isolating. And so seeing that in real time happening in a movie for me, dealing with family um, with mental health issues and me myself, it's disturbing. And it's just scary. And there's scenes in there that I will never get etched out of my brain. So I really love that. I really like that movie. One of my probably favorite disturbing movies to me. So those were just a few films that I put that are disturbing films that they have a meaning. They have something that you take away from the movie and you're like, wow, that hit me with a ton of bricks. Or wow, that really is a cautionary tale to me. So now we're going to go to the section of films that have no deeper meaning. That it's just exploitative. You're not really getting much out of this. It's literally just torture porn. Like I said in the beginning, there's not really anything worthwhile. I don't even want to mention this film, but alas, I have to. And I think everybody already knows what it's going to be. Serbian film.
Boo!
I don't even like mentioning this film because this film is just the most disgusting excuse for a film. Came out in 2010. I don't even know how to say the director's name. So I'm just going to put it right here. I have no idea how to pronounce that. No idea. I'm not even going to try. I am not going to try. A couple of these movies were banned in different countries. They were like banned movies. And I mean, for good reason. If you don't know, which very rare to me, if you don't know, within the film community, Serbian film is basically a aging porn star or corn star participating in an art film in order to make a clean break from the business. He's a father and a husband, and basically it turns out the films he's making are snuff films. There is major essay and violence against children and women in this movie, and even infants. Yes, I said that, infants. I think it is a disgrace within the film community that people even call this a horror movie. It is just plain revolting. And I feel very strongly about that because it's just a movie that doesn't need to be made. If anything, it is a movie made for predators and for disgusting, evil people that want to watch that. And it gets their rocks off. And they like it. They like seeing violence against women and children. And it's just sickening. It's just a movie that you don't take anything away from it. There's no cautionary tale within this. It is just pure misery and awful, degenerate stuff. I remember I went to my record store one time, and I saw a copy of it in like behind a glass case, locked up. And I'm like, who is buying this? Who is like giving this director money? Who is doing this? I just was like, I was astounded. I was astonished. Just something that doesn't need to be made. And I mean, maybe you disagree. Maybe you're like, no, like, it's freedom of speech. You're able to do whatever you want. Okay. I mean, if you want to make films about fathers essaying children and like killing them, okay, sure. Go for it. Go for it, David from Letterbox. I don't know. It doesn't make you edgy and it doesn't make you cool. It just makes you freaking weird and creepy and strange and like I don't trust you. Okay? Okay. So next we're doing the notorious, Oh, also, I want to preface by saying this. I know a lot of these movies are shock value, but that doesn't make it any less stupid. It's kind of like the Terrifier movies. I like the character art from the Terrifier movies. I like the different, funny, over the top gore. I understand that, but also, there is some stuff going around too with one of the actresses. It wasn't consensual. She didn't like the scene. It was just too much for her, which I do not agree with. But I also, yes, I would put that under just exploitative movies. It's just pure torture porn, honestly, for weird individuals. But that being said, It's not weird to like weird, stupid, gory movies. I like gory, campy movies, like just stupid, the Saw movies, stuff like that. But also, you could, say that Saw also kind of has a meaning, a deeper meaning. Be a good person and enjoy your life and don't be an asshole and you won't get killed. You know what I mean? So, this goes under the same category as I'd say, I mean, disturbing films that have a little bit of a deeper meaning at least. Teaches you to be grateful for your life and to try to be good to people around you. Anyway, sorry for that tangent, but we're going off to Cannibal Holocaust from 1980 by Ruggero Deodato. I don't know. He's Italian, so I have no idea how to say that, but that's how it's spelled. This is very notorious also within the film community of disturbing films. Um, Basically, if you've never heard of the preface of this movie, it's a missing documentary crew that goes into the rainforest Amazon, and like there's an indigenous tribe there, and it just gets barbaric. They have animal cruelty, and it is real animal cruelty. They really did kill animals within that movie. That's not all fake. Not all of it's fake. One of the actresses even said that there was an essay scene in it and she was very uncomfortable and they had to film it retakes multiple times because she was so uncomfortable. She did not want to do it. It was completely naked. It was a very awful experience for her. Yeah, so animal torture and essay heavily prevalent within this movie, and it looked so real that the actor actually had snuff film allegations and he had to go to court and prove that the people, the actors, were really alive still and that it wasn't real and that he didn't really kill them, which is crazy, by the way. I mean, it was the 80s, but like that's insane. um this one that gets me most too is the animal cruelty. I mean, there are real animals in there that are harmed, that are hurt, that are killed, and it's just barbaric and disgusting. Like, why, with how many special effects you could have used to make, because not all the animals in there were hurt. Only a certain number of them were. So it's just like, what's the point? Why couldn't you just faked it? Is it because you just have no regard for animal life? What's going on here? So that's also one that is very prevalent within the community. I do not own this. I only own one of these movies that I am talking about for the movies that are just exploitative. And I will get into this one right now. I do own I Spit on Your Grave from 1978. It's by Meir Zarchi? Zarchi? I'm so bad with names. I do own this one. This is a typical female revenge story. I've mentioned this movie in one of my other films. This is a very, very heavy trigger warning for any SA survivors or anybody that's been through assault. Um, this movie is very popular within the community, being talked about because there's a very long SA scene that lasts like minutes. I think up to maybe 25 minutes of just pure SA torture to a woman. And it is incredibly explicit. And it just rubs me the wrong way because I like the rest of the movie. The other half is her killing all of the people that were her perpetrators. Um, it's almost like seeing women in pain and vulnerable is entertainment and at the expense of the woman. There was no need to show long explicit scenes of SA. You could have alluded to the fact that she was assaulted. You could have alluded to the fact that something happened to her and faded it out. It was deliberately long and very disturbing, and like I said before, I just think it's all for the wrong reasons. I understand wanting to get your point across, saying that this barbaric thing happened to this woman in the film, the main character, but there's so many different ways that you could do that, I feel like. And I just don't think it was done tastefully at all. But once again, people love shock value. They love disturbing things. It's what gets more money, it's what gets more views because humans are weird like that. But I just don't agree. I don't think it had to be done. Other films like Miss 45, I do like Miss 45 as well. Those scenes weren't as long as I Spit on Your Grave. So I like that one a little bit more than this one, but still, the scenes were pretty explicit in that one as well. They didn't need to do that. The most notorious film for like female pain and suffering is Irreversible, which is like the most graphic SA scene ever done in a movie, I think. And like I said, you have to really ask yourself, why are they making these scenes so explicit and so lifelike and real? Why? It can't be because the audience wants to see it, because why would an audience want to see that? Why would an audience want to see that? They don't. Unless you are an awful creep and you like enjoy seeing stuff like that. So yeah, I skip a lot of the first half of I Spit on Your Grave. I do skip it because I just don't. There's no reason for it. I did what just popped into my mind as well is the newer version of not the old one, but the newer version of The Hills Have Eyes. That essay scene, so disturbing, disgusting, and gross. Thankfully it wasn't as long as these other ones I mentioned, but the one done in the first one I think was a lot more tasteful than the newer one. And I'd like to also say it's always done to women. It's always done to women on the screen. And you just have to beg to ask why. Just have to. Sorry. I'm not being too woke. I'm literally just saying why. Like, you seriously just ask yourself. You have to sit down and be more curious about it, I guess. You have to be more curious about it. More introspective. Why? On that note, I didn't know if I wanted to add this movie or not because this movie's more funny than I'd say. I mean, it's disturbing, but it's just everybody knows Human Centipede from 2009. It's a classic. It is a classic. People make memes of it because it's a classic. It was by Tom Six. It's just pure disgusting garbage fuel. But at the same time, it's so ridiculous. It's like one of those movies that's so ridiculous that it's like you can't help but just kind of be like, this is crazy that this was made. Just like Tusk, it's one of those movies that's like, this is insane. Could not finish, don't want to. There's like 3 of them. Whoever finished those movies, you're brave. You're brave. I'm also kind of questioning you a little bit, but you're brave. You're a little freak, and I kind of like that. But yeah, that was my last mention to this video. I guess what I want to say is I think that we as a society and as people in the film community that love film maybe should be asking more questions of why. I don't know, like, what do you think? I don't know. Are there films that should not be made? How far is too far? Like that, I guess that's what the whole question of this movie is should we be making films that they have meaning to them behind the disturbing explicit scenes that are happening? Or is it okay to just kind of run haywire and go so far to the other side that it's just pure shock and exploitation? And is that harming people? Is it normalizing it as well? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I hope that you do not check out these other films. Please do not go looking for a Serbian film. Do not. It's just I don't want to go looking for it. I've already seen all the trigger warnings. It is literally barbaric demon hell fuel. So just I don't know. I just don't think us in a community need to be supporting that. And once again, I just want to end it by saying you're not edgy or cool for liking SA scenes against kids and women. You're not like, oh, well, it's just like artistic and like, like, no, Brad, it's not artistic and it's not cool to perpetuate violence in movies against women and children because there's already so much violence in the real world. Okay? If it goes with the storyline, if it's very important to the story, then there's other ways that we can get across that something traumatic happens and then fade it away, alluding to the fact that something happened. We don't need to have these long, explicit scenes. Anyways, comment down your favorite disturbing movies if you want. Um, I need some more to check out because I do like disturbing films and movies, just not when they're crazy exploitative. So, anyways, like these pretty flowers. My boyfriend got them for me. Um, stay, s- stay questioning, stay insightful, stay away from Serbian film, and stay expired. That's all I have to say.